Hey everyone, Jason Schappert here of MzeroA.com. Welcome into our fourth and final part of this 7700 in-flight emergencies accident analysis series. I hope you've been loving the previous three, enjoying the podcast, members enjoying the webinars as well. Today we're going to be talking about American Airlines 965. This is actually the accident I highlighted when I was asked to deliver the keynote speech to the FAA at Oshkosh this previous year. And because it perfectly illustrates a point in what we've been saying through a lot of these incidents and accidents, that even the professionals make mistakes. And here's you and I, aspiring professionals, aspiring master pilots. I'm always an aspiring professional, right? I'm always a student pilot. That's just the humble mindset you need to adopt in aviation. And yet we see these professionals with tens of thousands of hours continue to make mistakes or make mistakes. So let's go ahead and let's look at American Airlines 965 with this animation and cockpit recordings. American Airlines 965 was a routine flight out of Miami departing on December 20th, 1995. They were heading down to Cali, Colombia. Now this flight was already very delayed. It's just that time of year near Christmas. It was a mostly clear night, yet there was no moon in the sky. We've all flown on nights like that where it is just black on black sometimes. 965 pushed back from gate D33 at Miami International at 5:14 p.m. Again, a few hours delayed. Our pilots are Captain Nicholas Tafuri and First Officer Don Williams, both seasoned pilots, having been former Air Force fighter pilots. First Officer Williams was even named Instructor of the Year by the Air Force. These are very seasoned, very, very professional pilots here. Now the flight was a regularly scheduled flight down to Cali, Colombia. Mostly people just going back to see their families for the holidays. Despite their 1 hour delay, the flight was remarkably uneventful up into the descent into Cali. Now at the time, Cali had no radar and actually relied on position reports from pilots. So the typical approach was to fly the prescribed approach that took the pilots past the airport and then gave them a turn back around, as you can see here from our approach plate. And you can also see the accident site there as well. I'll show that so you can kind of see that there. Now, Cali is actually located on the western side of Colombia, and it's in a valley surrounded by mountains easily exceeding 14,000 feet on either side. As I said, there was no radar at the time, and that's going to prove here very, very important. This is the approach, this approach here, that the pilots were going to load into their FMS. However, shortly into their descent, the controller asked if they'd like to accept a straight in for runway 19 to save time, since they were already so delayed. Cali approach says, 965, Cali? Captain says, 965, go ahead, please. Sir, the wind is calm. Are you able to approach runway 19? Would you like to shoot the runway 19 straight in? This is the captain talking to the first officer now. Yeah, we'll have to scramble to get down, but we can do it. Captain on the radio now. Yes, sir. We'll need a lower altitude right away, though. Cali approach says, Roger, American 965 is cleared. The VOR DME runway 19er. Rosso number 1 arrival. Report Tallulah, VOR. Cleared the VOR DME to 19 Rosso 1 arrival. We'll report the VOR. Thank you, sir. Report Tallulah, VOR. Cali approach says, report Tallulah. I've got to get you Tallulah first of all. You want to go right to Cali or to Tallulah? I thought he said the Rosso 1 arrival, said the first officer. Yeah, he did. We have some time to pull that out. Now, despite being slightly high to accept a straight in, the crew figured, well, they could make it work. They accepted the straight in landing for 19, smoothly brought the throttles back, deployed the speed brakes to expedite their descent down from 17,000 feet. The controller asked American 965 to report Tallulah, which the crew acknowledged. With the co-pilot flying, the captain began to look for the approach plate for runway 19er, all while clearing their previous approach out of the FMS. The captain assumed that because he was asked to report Tallulah, that it must lay ahead of him. Yet every time he loaded Tallulah in the FMS, it reported behind them. Finally, situational awareness snuck in, and they realized they had long since passed Tallulah. And the captain attempted to load the next fix into the FMS, another ground beacon called Roseau. Roseau was identified on the captain's chart as simply the letter R, which he put into the FMS and pressed enter. However, because of complexities of the FMS, confusion over duplicate R's in the database, the captain mistakenly loaded Romeo, which was a fix 100 miles to the east in Bogota. The autopilot made an aggressive aggressive turn to proceed in that direction, and they are now flying exactly 90 degrees off course through a valley with 14,000-foot peaks at night. To make matters worse, the descent continued. Okay, so we're cleared down to 5 now. That's right, and off Roseau, which I'll tune here. You see what I get? Says the captain. This is him frustrated, trying to get this Roseau, this letter R, all these things playing. He's just getting frustrated. You see what I get, he's saying here on the FMS? Back to our recording now. Yeah, says the first officer. Captain, at 21 miles, at 5,000, that's part of the approach, okay? Okay. I've done a lot of approach briefs in my day, and this is not necessarily an adequate approach brief in the least bit. We're just kind of shouting things out here. Can you see us slowly falling behind the airplane a little bit? Here was a controller doing us a favor, knew we were already late, offering to give us the straight in. It's 5 days till Christmas. Everybody just wants to get home. Yet we're scrambling to get down, and it's hard to get an airplane like this down easily and safely. It's night, there's no moon, there's 14,000-foot peaks on either side. Do you see the chain of events starting to build? Back to our transcript. Captain, off ULQ. So let me put ULQ in here, 17.7. Cali approach, American 965, distance now. What do you want, sir? Distance, DME. Captain on the radio, okay, distance from Cali is 38. First officer says, where are we? Clearly doesn't agree with that distance now, does he? Captain, let's go right to Tallulah first off, okay? Yeah, where are we headed, says the first officer. The captain, 17.7 ULQ, I don't know, what is this ULQ? What happened here? The alarming question is, what is this ULQ? That was the identifier for Tallulah. It's clear we can see situational awareness eroding along with CRM. Can you feel that tension there? Have we been creating a chain of events that you can identify? I want you to watch for a truth I find in nearly every accident I've researched. The longer the chain gets, the harder it is to break. Said another way, and more specifically to this accident, the further you fall behind the airplane, the harder it is to catch up. Now relate that to the kind of airplane we're flying. I've fallen behind my little Cessna 150, my little J3 Cub before. Imagine going this fast to the sky. The further you fall behind the airplane, the harder it is to catch up. Our story continues. Captain, let's come to the right a bit. First officer, yeah, he's wanting to know where are we heading. I'm going to give you a direct Tallulah. Okay, says the first officer. Right now, says the captain. Okay, you got it? First officer. Okay. Captain, and it's on your map. It should be. Yeah, it's left turn. Now with this, the aircraft rolls from a left turn to a right turn as the altitude passes 13,600 feet. The heading reached 100 degrees before the direction of turn was actually reversed. Yeah, I've got to get that expletive though. Captain says, okay, I'm getting it. 17.7 just doesn't look right on mine. I don't know why. You hear the navigation receiver. You hear ULQ in Morse code. First officer, left turn. So you want a left turn back around till ULQ. Finally, someone knows where ULQ is. It lies behind us here. The aircraft now rolls from a right turn to a left turn. At 6 degrees of left bank, the aircraft rolled into a right turn again with a bank angle of 20 degrees. Now let's press on to where, says the first officer. Tallulah. That's a right, says the first officer. Captain, where are we going? Come to the right. Let's go to Cali. First of all, we got messed up here, didn't we? He didn't say messed up. We had to bleep that part out. Yeah, says the first officer. This is mind-boggling to me. Is a left, is a right, Tallulah, Rosso, Romeo. We are descending 2,500 feet per minute into the Andes. Now, despite what you're thinking, this wasn't the captain's first trip to Cali before. He had been there a few other times. However, they were all done at night. Maybe he had never seen the Andes Mountains all around him before. Now, I want to pause for a moment. And unfortunately, in aviation, there really is no pause button. We can't just pull over and ask somebody for help. But while we're still hurtling through the sky at whatever speed, we can ask for help. We can ask for the help of our first officer. We can ask for the help of the controller. You have to humble yourself in aviation, or aviation will humble you. Never hesitate to just confess, hey, I don't quite know or quite understand what's going on here. If you remember, if you've been listening to the podcast along with this as well, United Flight 173, the very first accident of this, they didn't actually declare a mayday about the fuel issue. They let them know about the landing gear issue, but not about the fuel issue until they were descending just about into the trees. They waited way too long to ask for help. We're going to see that similar situation play out here as the tension continues to rise in the cockpit. To our transcript. Captain, go direct CLO. How did we get messed up here? Captain, come to the right now. Come to the right now. First officer, yeah, we're heading select to the right. Captain on the radio now. And American 38 miles north of Cali, you want us to go to Tallulah, then do the Rosso to the runway, right? Runway 19. Cali approach. 965, you can land runway 19er. You can use runway 19er. What is your altitude and distance, or altitude and DME from Cali? Okay, we're 37 DME at 10,000 feet. Captain, you're okay. We're in good shape now, talking to the first officer. We're heading, Cali approach interrupts him. Report 5,000 and final to runway 19er. Captain, we're heading the right direction. You wanna, with this happening now, the aircraft is still in a 20-degree right bank. The rate of descent starts decreasing from 2,700 feet per minute as pitch attitude increases and airspeed decreases. Altitude then passes through 10,000 feet. Captain, with a few choice words, you want to take the 19 yet? No response. Captain just says, come to the right. Come to the right for Cali for now, okay? Okay, says the first officer. Captain, it's that darn Tallulah. I'm not getting it for some reason. Captain, see, I can't get, okay, now Tallulah's messed up. He is convinced, despite hearing the Morse code identifier and everything else, this Tallulah, this fix that remains behind him, it's the one that's messed up. But can you paint this picture? Can you see this? Is situational awareness setting in for you as to what's happening here? But the flight still continues. The chain of events are building in stronger and stronger. Okay, yeah, says the first officer. But I can put it in the box if you want it. Now the first officer is starting to help out a little bit here perhaps and say, listen, let me see if I can help you. I don't want Tallulah, says the first officer. Let's just go to the extended center line of, which is Rosso, says the captain. Rosso. Captain, why don't you just go direct to Rosso then, all right? First officer, okay, let's. I'm going to put that over to you, says the captain. Hey, get some altimeters. We're out of 10 now. All right, says the captain. Finally, someone is thinking about altitude now. Cali approach. Distance now? Just as the cockpit microphone comes on, terrain, whoop, whoop, a little noise it makes. Pitch attitude, 4.5 degrees, nose up. Roll altitude is 12 degrees. Right airspeed, 12 degrees to the right. Airspeed's down to 234 knots. Rate of descent, 1,500 feet per minute. Altimeter, 8,480 feet MSL. Radar altimeter at 1,476 AGL. The autopilot then disengages. The master warning is then activated. Choice words from the captain. Again, the sound of the autopilot disconnect. Pull up, baby, says the captain. Cockpit area microphone. You hear the sound of the stick shaker. As the pitch attitude, just like that, by the way, look at the timestamps. The pitch attitude increases to 31 degrees. The aircraft rolls out of the right turn and reaches a 13-degree left bank. The master caution is issued as the radar altitude decreased below 500 AGL. Radar altimeter decreases to just 109 AGL, and the airspeed decreases to 187 knots. It's okay, says the first officer. Pull up. Okay, easy does it, says the captain. Again, the sound, the autopilot disconnect warning, the stick shaker stops. Nope, says the first officer. Up, baby, says the captain. Sound, the stick shaker starts and continues until impact. More, says the captain. Okay, up. We hear that terrain, pull up. And that is the end of our cockpit voice recording. What caused American 965 to crash? What caused them to fall so behind the airplane, become so distracted? Was it the complexities of the FMS? Was it the fact that it was at night? These were all professionals, is my point. Very, very experienced crews. Instructor of the year at the Air Force here. This was a very, very talented crew. The NTSB later said that if the crew would have retracted the speed brakes within seconds of starting their escape maneuver, they would have cleared the mountain they were trying to clear. Now, speed brakes at the time, the retraction of it was not part of the Americans' escape maneuver procedure, but that's besides the point. Was it because they didn't retract the speed brakes that they had an accident? No, I mean, that may have been the final link in our chain of events. However, it was building so much over that time. Even the professionals make mistakes. The pressure to fly, we're already running late. It's Christmas, everybody wants to be there. It's a moonless night into the mountains. You can see the chain of events adding up. I know we've been spending a lot of time talking about, Part 121, aviation. But I want you to understand this relates to us so well in general aviation as well, because we're met with the same pressures to fly, the same poor weather, the same moonless nights, the same mountainous terrain, all these factors. You see, we can add the greatest technology in our cockpits. At this time, maybe this FMS was the greatest technology out there. Yet if we don't know how to use it, or if it becomes a distraction, or guess what? You still can't take the pilot out of the equation. The decision making, you have to learn how to make amazing decisions. I could make you the best on the Avidyne or on ForeFlight or on whatever it is. But if I can't teach you to make great decisions, we're doing you a disservice. And that was the real goal of this series, to serve as a wake-up call to help you in the decision-making process. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for our JFK Jr. live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, March 26th. It's tomorrow if you're watching this the day it came out, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you'll join us on the MzeroA YouTube, the MzeroA Facebook. I hope I see you next week as well at Sun and Fun, Hangar D, Hangar Delta. Swing by. I'll be there all week. My good friend Steve-O-One Knievo will be there as well on Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. I can't wait to read your comments below. Build that chain of events. Let's learn here together. A good pilot is always learning isn't just a catchy slogan. It's truly something to live by. So listen, I can't wait to read your comments on YouTube, on Facebook, on MzeroA.com. Enjoy the rest of your day, and most importantly, remember, a good pilot is always learning. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you. Take a 2-week free trial of our online ground school and see why Aviation Consumer Magazine named it the top online ground school on the market. The first thing you'll notice is that we never teach to the test. We teach real-world skills that are going to keep you and your loved ones safe when you fly. Now, it's because of this real-world teaching, you'll pass your knowledge test and your check ride with flying colors. With one membership, you get access to all our courses, plus weekly webinars with myself and this outstanding MzeroA.com team. It's really like an interactive TV show broadcast from our studio, where you get to interact with a team of CFIs. We also offer live support and email support to make sure you succeed. Now, one thing you'll notice is that MzeroA is like nothing else on the market. It is truly a flight training community geared towards making you a safer, smarter pilot, because a good pilot is always learning. It's much more than a slogan for us. It is truly a mission. So click below and take a 2-week, no-strings-attached trial of our top-rated private, instrument, commercial, and FOI courses. Once you join our flight training community, I promise you will never want to leave.